optics for my fully remote observatory has arrived. And today we're gonna take a look at it. So I got a big box with a lot of glass inside of it. This is the telescope for my new fully remote observatory that's currently in the process of being built. I should say that we are just going to be taking a look at it today, as the motherboard for the mount that needs to actually run this is sitting in a plastic bag on my table. First of all, we have an optical test report. I'll put that to the side, but let's go ahead and take a look at it. There we go. There we go. Here we have it. This is from TS Optic, their 120mm PHQ quadruple refractor. And you know what I did? I think I put it upside down. No, I didn't. Weird. Okay, I just figured out that looked like almost like a base plate up here, but it is actually a carrying handle. But it's also a business style base plate just upside down. That is interesting. Okay. Let's just start at the business end back here. We can see it comes with a single saddle for mounting guide scope, ASIR, whatever you want. Also, plate up here, of course, on the top also has 5 bolt holes, so you can screw things up there if you like. It looks like there are 2 additional bolts over here. That's the same as the one that holds this one, so you can probably get another shoe, put another shoe over there if you want to. Going back further here on the business end, this one I believe is, yeah, so that is a manual camera rotator. So if you want to rotate the camera, you can do that by just rotating this, putting that down there. And moving further back, we have a few adapters here. This one is just a 1.25 to 2-inch adapter, so you can put that normal 1.25 and 2-inch stuff in it. Then we have a 2-inch receptacle here. I believe we can just need to screw this entire thing off. But it also comes with a number of different adapters. So, this looks like a, is it really M69? No, this is 62. Can this one be taken apart further? No. There are tiny little set screws around the perimeter here. I'm wondering if those is what's keeping these two, because it feels like those two here looks like they could be taken apart. Let me get some tools. Okay, now with that out, yeah. There we go. That moves. So I'm guessing this. There we go. This is probably 62 as well. Yes, yes it is. Okay, so that is just if you want a 2-inch receptacle for eyepieces. This looks like just a extension tube, which is 36 and a bit, probably around 36 millimeters long, if you want to get some extensions, because one of the things with these quadruples is the focal plane is actually quite far back. I am going to have a massive imaging train on this, so I'm probably not going to need this, but I will probably need this one, I think. This is probably going to be a step down to what, M54? Yeah, M54. And then I bet that this is going to screw in here, like so. And what do we have here then? Another step down to M48. Okay, so you're gonna have a 2-inch receptacle, you're gonna have a 1.25-inch receptacle, you're gonna have an M54, or you can put this on and you can have, so yeah, M54, you can M48 with this one if you put this one as well. I think most of my equipment is gonna be running M54. So for me, I'm gonna be putting that on there. And that means I'm gonna need a new end cap, because obviously, I guess I could use this temporarily. I don't know if I have, let me see, do I have a spare end cap? Let's see, I just found a few. This one, M54i, I think this is actually perfect. Let's see. Yeah, perfect. Knew I had something. I always keep extra little things lying around because you never know when you're gonna need it. Screw that on there. And now that's ready to receive my imaging train, which we're gonna be looking at in the future. Let's keep looking around. Let's actually flip this thing upside down. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Focuser wise, we got a dual speed focuser. Rack and pinion, but it's very nicely done with so there's no backlash in that at all, which can sometimes be an issue with rack and pinions, that there's a little bit of backlash, but I feel nothing. And I guess here we can adjust tension. Yeah, so this one is for adjusting the tension on the focuser, how heavy you want it to be, how much force you want to push on it. And of course we have already holes drilled here and here that's been tapped, so it's ready, and they're probably lined up with these flat surfaces here, so it's ready to receive something like an autofocusing plate. You can put that on here, obviously pull that one out, put it through a hole in the plate, remove this handle here by loosening a grub screw down here, and you can put an autofocuser on there. We're going to be doing that in the future, but that's again not for today. We're just going to take a look at this thing, see what it can do. Okay. Let's put the cap back on the focuser, lock that in. So here in the front, of course, we have a built-in dew shield. So there should be a screw. No, there's no screw. Okay, it's just friction fit on. Boom. That's actually a lot of travel on the dew shield. So with it fully seated back here, let's pull the front cap off. You can actually see here how the dew shield sits all the way up to the lens, and then we can just pull that out, and then it sits out there. Are there no ways? Oh wait, there are. Okay, that's good. We can see here, there, and there. There are small drop screws, and I guess with a appropriately sized Allen key, I would. Did I eyeball that correctly? No, it's a little bit too big. So I guess I could tighten down these grub screws here. So when I put this in the observatory for its final deployment, I'm basically going to be able to, lock the dew shield in place by tightening those. But for now, of course, as we're going to be transporting this, we're going to loosen these up again. Because one of the reasons I got this thing in the first place was because it was incredibly light compared to similar sized telescopes. And I've taken the front cap off, so let's see what we get. 7.5, perfect. That is actually surprisingly light for the size of this telescope is, because this thing is huge. So this is what I'm going to be running. I was considering, I actually do have a quite fast Newtonian, actually it's an F4, that has a similar focal length to this that I was strongly considering running, but I didn't want to deal with it suddenly losing collimation or anything like that and having to go there and recollimate. So just to keep things as simple as this is going to be my first observatory, I went with a refractor. I could probably just take and build up the Newtonian as well, so I could swap him out if I wanted to try something else. But this is at least the one I'm going to be starting with. I am very much looking forward to getting some light through this tube. But we're still quite a bit away from first light. As you might remember with my observatory plan, I am actually moving into the construction phase right now. The planning phase is over. As you can see, equipment is beginning to show up. The parts for building the observatory itself has also been ordered and is currently being manufactured. I don't have a delivery date yet, but it should be a month and a half away from now before I get the first parts to actually begin. And that means when we get into proper summer, I am going to be able to begin doing the first groundworks and getting some dirt moved away and beginning to build the structure. And plan is moving along nicely. My plan again is when we get into the fall and we begin to get some darkness here in Denmark again, that's when we're going to begin to actually put some light through this tube. And hopefully I'm going to have the observatory ready for the next winter season. So that'll be the winter season 2026-2027. That's my plan, to have everything up and running by then. But I also just want to say a huge thank you to all you guys who've been giving me feedback and come with suggestions. There's been really a lot of good information put my way through you guys, and it's been a huge help. And it's definitely made me rethink some of the decisions that I've already made that I thought I knew, but now there's some things I'm going to be reconsidering thanks to the feedback that you guys have been giving me. So really appreciate it. Keep it coming, and I'll see you guys next week. Actually calls for a concrete slab as a foundation. Now, obviously this raises two issues. Right now I'm in the planning phase, and in the planning phase we're going to be looking at stuff like actually figuring out the layout of the site, where exactly the structure is going to